finding something last minute is virtually impossible. Had to rent an Airbnb for the entire year. Some students face discriminatory ads, show you the place, to show you the room after you pay for the visit. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're in Bologna, a lovely city in the central northern Italy, and so many people love it for its beauty and food and culture and friendliness and of course academic excellence, because it's home for one of the oldest universities in the world and the oldest in the Western world, and so many students from Italy and across the world choose Bologna to study here, to continue their education here. But not only, many young professionals actually fall in love with Bologna as well and want to settle down here. However, what's hiding behind all its beauty and academic excellence? I'll be uncovering some dark secrets today. So if you want to learn more about it, don't forget to subscribe and we can begin. With more and more students coming here and many young professionals wanting to live in Bologna, this city physically cannot accommodate everyone, because there's just not enough accommodation for the people coming here. There is not enough accommodation because of all the Airbnbs, and the tourism is obviously on the rise, and many people actually choose to turn their homes into a holiday accommodation instead of renting it out to people who need it full-time for the long term. In fact, it's not uncommon for students to end up living on a friend's couch for months on end, or spending a lot of money for a tiny room with no windows, sharing the bathroom with 10 people or something like that. These stories happen all the time, and for young professionals who are only starting their jobs, who are only starting to work as new professionals, new graduates, it can be tough to get accommodation if they don't have an indefinite contract. And I'm not even talking about freelancers. For freelancers, it could be a nightmare. As a freelancer myself, I know what I'm talking about. It's really, really tough to find a place to rent here. But it's not only the case of Bologna. I think it's the case of many big cities, the big cities where people want to come and live and settle down. So yeah, I'm just speaking from my experience about Bologna. When it comes to students, well, have you ever tried finding an accommodation as a student in Bologna? Whether a full-time student or an exchange student, it's equally difficult to find anything. When I was a student myself, I've lived for 2 years in a nearby town, commuting every day because it was just much easier and also cheaper to find accommodation in the suburban areas, and just come here every day, because finding an accommodation here for students is really tough. Some students face discriminatory ads, and also the prices are rising all the time. And besides, I highly recommend you to start looking for accommodation at least 4 to 6 months in advance, because finding something last minute is virtually impossible. All of my friends and I have been through it when we were the undergraduates, and it's been quite tough, It took me several months to find my first accommodation in Bologna. Finally, I found it, so yeah, it's possible. Just, start early. It also could be a good option for students, also young professionals as well, to find something in the suburban areas, because the transport links are very, very good. And yeah, you can commute here. Obviously, commuting is it's a downside of living in this area, but you will find cheaper accommodation and it might actually be easier for you. By the way, guys, if you want to learn more about coming to Italy, moving here and settling down here, and you want information on finding accommodation or bills, paying your bills and reducing your bills, or expat events, language learning tips, and much, much more, check out my Patreon page. I will leave you the link in the description box. I cover all these topics there. So we are getting to the point of this video when it seems almost impossible to find accommodation here, and it might sound a little bit depressing. Well, don't worry, guys, I have a few tips for you. What I'm trying to say is that I'm not trying to diss Bologna in any way. Bologna is a wonderful city, but what I'm saying that, sadly, there are some very, very dishonest landlords who want to take advantage of your situation, especially if you're a student or young professional, or if you're coming here for short term of under 1 year, say, because finding short-term lets is really, really tough here. Friends of mine, an American couple, had to rent an Airbnb for the entire year because they simply couldn't find accommodation to rent like this normally for 1 year period. So yeah, guys, there are some things that you can actually do, so don't worry and stick with me till the end of this video. One thing that I couldn't stress enough is the importance to start researching options as early as possible. 4 to 6 months is the shortest time that you can opt for. I would even recommend you starting early because, research your options, contact landlords, contact agencies, try finding something very well in advance because it will definitely help you once you're coming here. I'm stressing it again because no matter how many times I repeat it, I still get messages from people telling me, I'm coming to Bologna next month and I haven't found an accommodation yet and I don't know where to find it. And well, guys, this is the situation when you have to brace yourself for a long research, but after all, it will definitely give you more chance of finding your perfect place. So next up, what you can do if you are looking for an entire apartment to rent and you are a student or young professional and you want the whole place without having a full-time contract or an indefinite type of contract or whatever contract most landlords would require from you. There are actually ways to negotiate your conditions. Obviously, there will not be all of the places that will require you to have an indefinite contract, and you will be able to find some options that will accept you without it. But guys, if you are required to have this contract and you don't have it, there is an option to negotiate an extra deposit that you can give. Usually it's like a several months deposit that you will pay in advance, or you can even maybe pay the entire year in advance if you have the means, but do not confuse it with the security deposit because the security deposit cannot exceed the 3 months rent, and this is illegal in Italy to ask you for more. So the security deposit should be a thing apart, and then you can offer an extra deposit to pay to your landlord for your stay if you don't have the contract, just as a way to secure your place and to show them that you can pay, or you can just have this backup plan in case your contract fails or whatever happens. Just make sure always to put it on the paper and to include it in your contract if you want to get your money back. And when you are trying to find a room to rent, there is one thing that I want to warn you about. There are this kind of scams, sadly, when people will offer to show you the place, to show you the room after you pay for the visit. Guys, this is absolutely illegal, but sadly some poor students fall for this because they're so desperate to find a place that they're ready to pay whomever to just view the place or to secure their place. This is illegal, so report these people if you encounter a situation like this. Don't fall for this scam, and obviously use common sense when looking for accommodation, when trying to secure yourself a room. Don't forget that you're actually paying them some money, so you have some rights as well, even though some landlords might try to treat you as if you didn't. As the bottom line, I would say that for students, the best way to find accommodation is the word of mouth. Trust me, when you are here, it will be way easier for you to find a place to stay through friends or acquaintances. Just, find something for your first month here or so, and then you will be able to find a more stable long-term accommodation once you arrive. It's definitely easier, and it's actually safer because maybe your friends will know someone who is moving and are looking for, a new roommate or something like that, and it will be safer and easier and always cheaper for you. Trust me, that is definitely the cheapest option. So yeah, do not despair anyway. As for expats, guys, look for expat-friendly places. Don't be afraid to negotiate the conditions. Don't be afraid to negotiate your way into the place that you love, and obviously don't let dishonest people take advantage of you. Another option that you can think of is the co-living spaces, not only in Bologna but in other high-demand cities like Milan or Rome, for example, where you will find plenty of co-living spaces. And if you are into it, you can opt for a place like this. You will get your room, sometimes even with a kitchenette or something, and you will get this expat community or digital nomads community, remote workers community, the gist. And it will definitely be a nice place to be, a nice place to live. You will be surrounded by other expats, other people there, and you will have the community whenever you want it, or you'll be able to return to your room if you want to stay, in silence and in solitude for some time. And yeah, it could be your option, guys, if you can't find any other long-term form of accommodation here. And whatever your situation is, know your rights always, and don't worry, you will eventually find something. I've never heard of anyone, just staying on the streets and not finding an accommodation. Obviously, you can find something once you come here, so focus on securing yourself something or somewhere to live for the first months at least, and then you will see that it will get easier, trust me. But start as early as possible. And that's it, guys. I hope this video was helpful for you. Don't forget to check my Patreon page for even more tips and details. And yes, I wish you all to find your perfect place in Bologna, because even with all the difficulties with housing, I still love this city, and everyone I know does. This city is just so magical. And yes, sadly, there are, as I said at the beginning of this video, there are sadly these dishonest landlords, but you know, this city deserves all the attention and all the hype it's getting, because it's absolutely wonderful. And yes, as I said, at the end of the day, you will find your perfect place, so do not worry about it. Having said that, guys, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button down below if you haven't yet, so you don't miss anything new. And as always, like, comment, and share this video with your friends so I can make even more videos like this for you, including all of our amazing travel vlogs that are awaiting for you very, very soon. Thank you so much for being here, and please enjoy your day.